Hi, Raquel. Oh, no, I didn't mean that thumbs down. I mean thumbs up. I'm just going to wait for a few minutes for people to sign on. Sometimes with these kind of off the grid studio sessions, people will trickle in or show up late, and we don't have our normal crowd. So we'll wait and see. Maybe it's just you and me today, in which case that's fine. We'll just make do with whatever we have. This was a little bit of an incognito session too. I didn't really do a bunch of talking about it. Yeah, I love your picture, Raquel. It's like making me smile at you like you're here. Or like you're on.
Thanks.
I feel like
it's really great.
I need to replace mine because mine's just my initial, but I love the way I feel like you're right here looking at me.
Sorry, I cannot turn the camera on because I'm in the iPad and it's kind of weird every time that I turn it on. So I just prefer to have the picture.
Yeah,
but
no,
if
don't
that's
worry.
okay, then
That is totally fine. Don't worry about it.
okay.
Oh, here we go.
Cool
We
to
have...
be here. It's the first time that I
Hi.
attend one of these sessions, so
Yeah, I'm
really
glad you're here.
happy.
Yeah. Hi, Jackie. I haven't seen you in
Hi.
forever.
I know it's been a long time, and I'm so glad I could join today. I'm not even prepared. I'm going to look at your email to see what we were supposed to bring, but I'm so
Oh,
happy
well,
I could
that's
come
okay.
for an
I
hour.
can talk about it right now. Hi, Joanna.
Okay.
Hi, everybody.
How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good. We're just going to use watercolors. Usually for these ones where it's not like our normal group and we're inviting everybody in, I try to keep it pretty simple. So I'm just doing watercolor paper or journal watercolors, and then pens or pencils.
Cool.
Hopefully that's stuff that you have right there with you.
Yeah, I'm just going to get some water.
Okay. Hi, Renee and Amber.
Hello.
If you guys would like to, just because it's always a little bit interesting, you can put in the chat, or you can just go ahead and speak up since we have a pretty small group, just where you're from or where you're signing in from. That's always kind of fun to hear. I'm in Miami myself. And then it's always fun to kind of throw in a fun fact. So let me think for a second about what our fun fact can be. I don't want to get too wacky. So maybe just if you have any pets, and if you do, like, what's your favorite one? I don't have any pets. My son has a dog though, and they don't live here. And that is my favorite kind of pet, somebody else's. Because I don't have to take care of it, but I get to enjoy it kind of like a grandchild. Oh, Pocono. The Poconos Mountains. My husband used to vacation there when he was a kid. Hi, Lynn. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, thanks. We're just either putting in the chat or just saying it because we have a pretty small group, where we're coming from and what our favorite pet is or was, and I just said my favorite pet is my son's dog because it doesn't live here, but I love him.
That's awesome. I'm from Southern California and I love dogs. I have two that I'm actually watching because they're outside and they're naughty when they're outside and unsupervised.
I know you have dogs. I've seen them on Instagram.
Yes, they're very sweet, very cute. We're still like, we're barely coming out of puppy face. Come here, guys. Come here, Bubba, come here. Look, say hi. Hello, and good morning, everybody.
Oh, there they are.
Bubba, come here. You want to say hi? Oh, no.
They look like the kinds of animals that think they're a lap dog, but they're not.
Yes, 100%. They think that they, especially the girl, the white one you saw, she would like to just melt herself into my body and become one being.
Yeah. Yeah.
She had it her way. The boy took a little work. He was a little independent when we got him. And more attached to her than me, but now he's definitely my baby too. He's
Yeah.
like 95 pounds of love.
Yeah. My friends have large dogs like that. And the one in particular really doesn't think that he's that big. He thinks that he's like this little Pomeranian that can sit in your lap, and he's like in your face on top of you, 80 pounds of it.
Yep, it's perfect. That's like my dream. Which I'm fully living with these two dogs.
Hi, Raquel.
I changed to the computer, so it was also easier then.
Okay, there we go. Where are you coming from?
So I'm from Spain, from the Canary Islands, but I'm now based in Germany. So yeah, right now I'm in Germany
Oh,
working.
wow.
So yeah.
We're traveling to Spain in the summer. My husband and my daughter and I. We've never been before. My daughter's best friend lives in Madrid, so we're gonna go
Okay.
to Madrid.
You go to Madrid and somewhere else, or
Yes, and then we're gonna go to Malaga. I might be saying it the wrong way. Malaga? Is that how
Malaga?
yeah, we're going there.
It's the same, yeah.
Yeah, so it
Oh,
will be fun.
cool. Okay. Yeah, I
We
hope
know
you
nothing
enjoy
about it.
that.
We're doing our research right now. So if you want to, like give me tips, I'll take those. We can stay on
Yeah,
it.
so from in Madrid, yeah, I can give you a few tips. And Malaga, I haven't been, but I have friends there, so yeah, I can ask and get back to you. Yeah. But if you
Fun.
go to the Canary Islands, just let me know, because yeah, there I have a lot of tips.
Yeah, well, I don't even know where they are. I'll have to look them up and see if is it close to
No. I think that yeah, it's better to like do a trip just there. But I
separate.
guess,
Okay. But they sound beautiful, just the name.
yeah.
Okay, well, I'll get started so that we can make use of our time together. Oh, let me look at the chat really quick. Amber says she's in the Atlanta area. Oh, okay. And a young friendly cat and a laid back old grumpy one. I feel like if I were going to be one of your cats, I would probably be the laid back old grumpy one. No, I would be laid back and old. I was trying to combine both cats, but no, I would be the laid back one. Let's not call me old yet, but I'm feeling my years. Hi Renee, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good, thank you. Okay, so all we need for today is some watercolor paper or a watercolor journal, your watercolor paints, and some brushes, some water. And that's kind of it. You can use pens or pencils if you want to. I mentioned this in one of my other programs already. Joanna is going to smile when she hears this. I did a training in some therapeutic arts for non-art therapists just recently. And we did this exercise with breath. And I know we've done it before in one of our other programs a while ago. We've drawn the breath or painted with the breath. But it just kind of reignited this enjoyment for me that I would like to share with you. So I'm going to combine a couple different things with painting the breath and making marks with the breath if we want to. We're going to do something I call it either color hunting, or I've also heard it called color craving. So we'll get our watercolors. You can kind of start to prep them as I'm talking, just by getting them a little bit wet so they can get kind of like sticky and juicy while we're talking. And then when you're ready to use them, they'll already be ready to go. But I will switch to my table in a minute, but for right now, I will just hold my book up to the camera so you can see. This is one example. We're going to do some squares and just do our paint strokes with our breath. So this is one way. If you don't want to pre-draw any grid or squares, you can just start working kind of intuitively with one and then add on another one, and you can let them run together and kind of have this really natural, organic feeling. The one I'm going to be working on today, because I like the combination of it, I just freehand drew a grid with 12 squares in it. And I'm starting with the color, breathing with it as I'm putting the paint down. and then sort of taking a break, breathing, feeling into an intuitive mark I can make, and then just making the marks with my breath, and then alternating between the colors and the marks. So you don't have to have a preconceived color palette. The idea is we're just going to take a couple deep breaths. You know, you can close your eyes if you want to, just kind of get a feel for where you're at and how your body feels, maybe what your emotions are telling you, and then look at your paints. I have mine set up already. I can't really, let's see. So I have my dry paints down here in the pans, and then I have a grid up here that shows me a sample of what each color looks like when it's on paper. So for this particular exercise, this makes it really handy to be able to be like, oh, what color am I really attracted to in the moment right now? It's a little harder when it's like this, but you can kind of wing it. So this just in case you're wondering, these paints are from 31 Purple Fish. I also have those are all handmade. And then I have this palette that I got on Amazon. This is a Gen Crafts set. And I also did the color grid for this one too. So it's easy for me to see what the colors come out as. So the first thing to do, I will switch to my table, is get your piece of paper, get a pencil or a pen if you want to do the grid. Give me just a second while you're grabbing that. I will switch over to my table. This just takes a second for me to see if I have it in the right place. Oops. Okay, it always does backwards. I don't know why, but. So I'm going to go ahead and keep with this. I also, if you want to work bigger so it moves faster, you can do a different size square, maybe 9 pieces instead of 12. I'm guessing you're not going to have time to finish all 12 right now, but that just means that you can continue after we get off. Let me look at my notes really quick to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Oh, so when we're breathing, I was noticing yesterday, I would take a deep breath and then I would get my color ready, do a stroke, and then I preferred, and you can test this out for yourself because I'm not going to be giving you cues on when to breathe. You're just going to do what feels natural to you. So I would notice I would do like a stroke down on the exhale, and then it felt better to me to inhale and then come back up and then just stroke down on the exhale. If you want to do down, exhale, up, inhale, you can do that if that feels good to you. Just remember to keep breathing the whole time. And when you're switching from either color to marks, make sure you're breathing as you do that. Don't hold your breath. And then with the marks, just do a mark and then breathe, like breathe through it. And then you can inhale and then breathe through it again. And then just take your time and make your mark or your paint stroke with each breath. Yeah. And then every time you switch colors, you might notice like you start with a bright color and then you want to switch to something else. Probably as your body changes, as you're going through the breath, you're going to crave different things. That's always interesting to look at towards the end. So just go with whatever feels intuitive for you. And then the marks, go ahead and just whatever feels intuitive. And you might notice too, if you're working this way with marks and colors, you might notice that you're like, oh, I'm going to do marks and colors. And then you get to the second square and you're kind of like, I'd rather do a color. So just stick with what you want. And then afterwards, we'll do some reflection on our grid and see what came up for us, what we enjoyed, what we learned. And that's really it. It's nice to put on some music when you're doing this on your own. I don't want to do it right now because not everyone likes the same kind of music and you might prefer silence. So I'm just going to work silently. I'm going to go ahead and continue with this one because I didn't get to finish it yesterday. But that's it. Does anybody have any questions before we get started? No, okay. So I'm gonna just I will invite you to join me just for like a really quick, like 1 minute long little cleansing breath exercise. I'm gonna just put my hands in my lap and close my eyes, and I'm just gonna take 3 deep breaths at my own pace and just really feel into my body and notice how my body feels as I'm breathing. So I'm gonna breathe in now and I'll go from there. Okay, so now that I've had some time to breathe, I feel pretty relaxed. I'm gonna get my paints ready and I'm just gonna start with the color that's calling to me the most. And if you have any questions as you're going, go ahead and just speak up. We have a pretty small group, so whenever you want to talk, go ahead and just speak up. And you might find it's helpful if you're not quite sure what color to begin with. You might want to close your eyes and just sort of feel around for a minute in your head and your body and see if you can relate a color to whatever you're feeling. You might notice too, as you're working, that you want to try different brushes. Right now I'm using a round brush, but you might want to try a flat brush. You might want to try holding it differently if you use just the tip and seeing how the fine tip leaves a finer mark, or if you want to lay it down and use the belly of the brush so it covers more area. Those can all give you different experiences. You might also notice as you're working that you sort of forget to follow the breath, and that's okay too. Just when you notice it, bring it back, and just on your next exhale, then you can time everything back together again. Okay, so I'm guessing you're still working. You don't have to stop. I've put a bunch of questions in the chat, so I invite you to just read through those. There are a lot there, so I don't expect anybody to answer all of them, but if something jumps out at you, maybe pick one or two to write about or think about. And then in maybe like 5 minutes, we can just do a little like popcorn little gallery walk and talk to each other and hear what everybody's experience was with the exercise. Okay, do you guys feel like you're at a point where we could discuss a little bit, or do you need a few more minutes to keep working? Thumbs up, we can discuss. Okay, we'll go with you, Lynn, first, since your speaker is, you're already ready to go.
I was ready. I was going to tell you that I'm ready, but not necessarily to discuss, but I'll go.
I saw you reaching for your mic to put your mic on.
Okay. I'm back with all my comments and all my processing.
I love it. I love it.
Great. I know I've missed, I'm literally so happy right now. I'm like, God, I've just been in like a 6-month season of drilling down and working a lot. And like by the end of the day, my brain is complete mush to like where I need to do art, but I just like can't even bring myself to do it. I think because I've just been so out of practice. So this feels so good. I love, oh wait, can you see? Yeah, you can see it.
Yeah.
I love taking up
Let me hang on one second. Let me take myself off. I'm on pinned. Let me take myself off the pin. Hang on. I'm not sure how to do that when I'm, oh, here we go. Remove pin. Did that do it? Remove pin. Okay. There, now we can see you, I think, right? Can everybody see Lynn big? Okay.
Okay, so here it is. What I realized I love about like what I know about myself apparently because of this is I like to take up space, but I don't want to do it in one full swoop. So I like working incrementally, like small spaces like this is so helpful for me. One, because it's not overwhelming, right? Like, and so is life where you just need to do things in chunks. Then I can like figure out what my next step is. These little circles over here, I don't love them, but what they reminded me of, I kept thinking about cinnamon rolls. I found this bakery that makes, you guys, the most amazing cinnamon rolls. I have thought about them since 2 months ago when I first tried them. And every week I see them post about their cinnamon rolls and I'm like, should I go get more cinnamon rolls? They're the most perfect cinnamon roll ever.
Oh, I love cinnamon rolls.
Oh, they're so good. Like it's like not too sweet, but like gooey. Somehow they like are able to make them extra gooey without like overly sweet. Yeah, other than that, like the bold colors were really like, I was really digging them and just having fun, like playing with different strokes. Oh, the other thing that came to mind, I love doing it with the breath. And at some point, like I was like kind of just going like this and my breath was getting shorter. And then when I realized I was doing that, I was like, oh, you can control your breath and then follow with the paintbrush rather than the paintbrush being the lead and my breath following. So then I was more intentional about that. And one of the other things that I've kind of keeps coming to me is apparently what I'm working on right now is being uncommitted to things. So you not having to like, double down just because I decided one thing. So like I started with these like kind of split squares because that's when I drew my grid, what I wanted. And then I was like, I don't feel like doing that in that square right now. So then I like uncommitted myself from it and did whatever the hell I wanted.
Oh, I love that you just let go right in the middle of it and went with it.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Would anyone else like to go? Renee? You look like you're ready to speak. I'm not going to make you if you don't want to, but you looked like you were ready.
Yeah, I used like some muted colors and I enjoyed definitely the feel of filling up space quickly. And yeah, it was fun. And then I just started with the drawings and
Hold it back towards
the
your
marking.
chest a little bit. The closer it is to you, the easier we can see it.
Oh,
Like,
the closer it is to me.
yeah,
Okay.
like on your chest. There you go.
Okay.
Oh, so did you make marks? Let me make you bigger on my screen. Hang on a second. I want to see, because did you do marks with paint on top of your paint?
I did
that
with a micro pen.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Very
it
cool.
was fun.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Mm-hmm.
Why am I feel like oh, here we go. I'm sure that Zoom does not change every week, but I feel like I'm a newbie with it every single time. Okay, I fixed my screen. Raquel, how is it? What did you observe from it?
So I actually enjoyed it a lot because usually I don't think about breathing. So I
Yeah.
find yoga and all this, but I actually find myself just like focusing on other stuff and not the breathing part.
Mhm.
And as I mentioned in the chat, so I love doing marks, and I find myself like all the lines and when they meet, and I love this. It makes me feel really good. And I can spend like a long time doing that and combining it with watercolors. But today what I saw is that I enjoyed more, maybe because it's what Lynn said, that it's a small space, so it's like it has, you know, like the border, and you just go from one place to another with the pen, with the brush, and I found that much more soothing with the breathing.
Mhm.
Whereas when I did the marks, I find myself like breathing more, maybe strongly, or like really, you know, like with the pencil going there, and breathing harder, let's say.
Mhm. It
This
is
is
an interesting thought. Like, are we being directed by the marks or the paint strokes, or are we directing it with our breath? That was a good point to bring up, Lynn.
and this would be
Oh,
it.
yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I found also when I was doing mine, I really like to see the blooms and the bleeds in the watercolor, and it wasn't quite happening for me, and I just had to be okay with it in the moment because it is such a small space. And when you're doing the paint strokes, they just kind of come together fairly evenly. But yeah, I did notice I was exhaling and then pausing my breath normally because I wanted to. I was breathing at a slower pace than I normally do, but it felt good to me in the moment. So I was making my brush do that with me, which maybe looked weird on the camera. I don't know, because it was like brush, stop, brush, stop. But yeah, I appreciate all this insight. Thank you.
Yeah, and the mark making, I don't know if, and for anyone it also happened, but for me, so for example, when I was doing the circles are really lined, so it's just like a spiral. But when I breathed in, it was on one side, and when I breathed out, it was the other one. So I kind of did this consciously, but just to have like a difference. But yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Cool. Jackie or Joanna, either one. We'll go with Jackie first.
The J sounds are left. This was fun. I forgot to kind of make marks. This one I have these watercolor pencils. So I made marks with the pencils, and then this is the one I started with, like just doing strokes breath by breath, and I found I kept forgetting to pay attention to the breath. And then when I paid attention, I was like, oh no, I'm doing it. So that was funny to just sort of be attentive to something that was already guiding my hand, and then to see how it affected the stroke a little bit. I was being very methodical, and then I realized it was probably better for me to not pay attention to the breath, because I was being too, like you were doing, like breath in, up, breath out, down, breath in. And that was fine. But then I had already done that for like 4 squares. And I thought, oh, maybe I'll try it differently this time.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I love that you guys always have a license to do whatever you want. Like if you go off on some other tangent, it's totally okay. I'm never offended by that. I love to hear when you make decisions like that and decide to go your own route. Yeah. It's interesting too when you do the breath painting and you don't use any kind of container. And if you close your eyes, then you're not thinking about what you're making at all. And then it's just really about the experience of your hand moving and what your body feels like and how you're relating to the breath. It's really interesting.
Can I ask a question? Do you do that with several different colors of paint? Are you like opening your eyes, switching?
Well, so I did it recently and I did switch colors. So I would keep my eyes closed. I would get my paint on my brush, put my brush down, and then breathe, and then I would peek every once in a while. And if I wanted to change the color, I would do it. But it wasn't about, there was absolutely no investment in the outcome. So it didn't really matter. What I did was when I noticed myself, like curious or my emotion changing a little bit, then I would open my eye and kind of look for something that seemed to resonate with that particular thing, and then just put my brush down and close my eyes again. We did that this last week in our Nourish program, and we also did it with music. We put like meditation music on in the background, and then that was really interesting too, to see how the music affected our movements and our breath and everything. It was really interesting. So that's how you could try it, on your own if you want to. Joanna?
Hi, everybody. I thought this was really interesting. I was feeling really scattered when we started, and I felt like I'm not sure that I can kind of do this. So I started, and then I found the paint portions were easy, and then the lines were kind of they were just making me think too much. So I found myself just like really concentrating on my breathing during the color parts, and then just kind of like just doing whatever for each of the squares.
Yeah.
So it was a little bit like Lynn said, like I was uncommitting myself, but just for small portions, and then I was going back.
Yeah.
So so mine, I never could tell.
Yeah.
So I found that it was good, and I feel a little less scattered now, so
Mhm.
it worked.
Yeah, I find personally for myself, and this I'm sure is not the way it is for everybody, but I tend to think more with the marks. So if I'm looking to just get lost in the breath and my body and the sensation of everything, then I will choose no marks, because I think maybe the precision of holding the pen, and you're kind of, even though you're trying not to think, you're actually thinking because you want it to go a certain, like if I want to abandon all thought, I just go with paint. But
I think
noticed,
that's what I was finding. And that's why I just was
Yeah.
eventually just kind of said, like, I'll just do whatever for the marks, and then kind of
Mhm.
like regroup my breathing for the colors.
Yeah. So I'm curious if you guys feel like doing it in the future, if you just play with it different ways, like no containers and only paint and eyes closed versus eyes open and music and no music. There's like a million ways you could do it. Anyway, I'm curious about that. Amber, would you like to share?
Sure. Well, I have another a way you can do it differently. I tend to forget to be in my body too, so the breathing was really good to bring me back. But the paint made me frustrated and more in my head because it wasn't blooming and bleeding like I wanted.
Mhm.
So the
Mhm.
marks were better. And what I did, even with the marks, I was still kind of in my head. And so I switched to my left hand and did the marks with my
Oh,
left hand,
great idea.
which I don't know, somehow I was concentrating, but still aware of my body, which with
Mhm.
my right hand, I'm all in my head.
Yeah.
I guess because it's so automatic, but with my left hand, I was in my head and my body at the same time. And
Yeah.
so this
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
the
That's
bright
great.
colors and just the whimsical nature of all of it. You asked, one of the questions was,
Yeah.
what's the overall sentiment? And I
Mhm.
think lately I've been having an invitation to be free and be bold. So
I love it.
that's what this is.
It feels like almost like a candy store to me. Like all those like delicious candy colors. I love it.
I love that.
Oh, well, thank you everybody for sharing. I appreciate it. Does anybody have any questions on the exercise or anything, like last thoughts to share or anything? No, okay. So this was actually our little inspired explore session. So Raquel and Renee, if you guys have any questions, everybody here is part of Inspired. So you can ask people that aren't me about Inspired if you have any questions. And then other than that, that's it for one of our studio sessions.
Yeah, I actually do have a question. So I love these kind of sessions, and I do by myself a lot of every time that I have time, it's the first thing that I do is try to do something in the sketchbook.
Mhm.
Do you usually meet like this? So this is something that you do regularly, or?
We do this particular type of session, we do once a month. And then we also have a co-work hour where we meet like this, we'll chat in the beginning, and then we all bring our own thing to work on. So it's not something guided by me, but we're here together. And then we share about what we're working on and then work. And then in the end, we can share what we accomplished if we want to. You don't have to. And then we part ways. And then we just have started doing member spotlights where I interview somebody who's in the membership and we hear about how they use art in their life and, you know, just where they come from, how creativity fits into their life. And, you know, it can be, everybody is so different and has such different backgrounds. It's really fun to hear how different people are using art and creativity in their life. So that when we meet live, I mean, the last few have been just me and like a couple other people, but I imagine more people will come as they see the sessions or the interviews and want to participate. But the idea is I'll talk with the person who's there with me for like 30-40 minutes and then open it up to everybody else. So everybody can be a part of the conversation and ask whatever questions they have. And then what else? Yeah, there's 3 live things a month.
Okay. And sorry if I asked too much, but
No, go ahead.
I follow you for a while now, but I never did any course or anything. So just like follow the feed. But so there are other courses or workshops that there's also like community behind, or this is the one that it's more based on this kind of.
So this one meets every month and it's ongoing. And then in the springtime and in the fall, I do Visually You, it's a 5-week course. And then there's an add-on option at the end for this program called Nourish, where we meet once a week for this time. It's like 6 weeks, I think. So there are other things that meet live, and then a lot of people do both. So you'll see a lot of people from both programs, Inspired and Visually You and Nourish, like we'll all eventually come together at some point, it feels like. But this is the one that doesn't go in seasons, and it's just by month. The other ones are a little more intense because it's like every week for a certain amount of weeks.
Thanks. Thanks for opening up.
Yeah, of course.
Opening this session up. So that's cool.
Yeah, of course. Anybody else? Just because I do have inspired people here. I think we actually have a co-work session for Inspired tomorrow. I don't know if you guys know that. It's on the thing at noon. And then our studio session, I think, is the 24th. I think. Yeah, is that right, Joanna? Do you know?
I think it is. I think I just put it in my calendar actually last night. Oh, no, the 20th.
20th.
That's what I put. Is it Monday?
Okay, well, it is on the dashboard. Raquel, did you get the email that has like the little tour and everything where you can see how everything, okay.
Yeah,
that should
I think so. And I went through the audios and the every.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks everybody. And we'll see you next time. Let me know if you have any questions, email, whatever. All right. Bye everybody. It was nice to meet you, Raquel and Renee. Amber, good to see you again. Jackie, you too. Lynn.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you all.
You too, Joanna.
Thanks, Sarah.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.